Matt Del Vecchio here. That was Celine Dion's iconic performance at the opening of the Paris Olympics this past summer. Really unbelievable considering her challenges with the stiff person syndrome that she was going through. Well, the Olympics was also special for Virginie Chenier. Virginie was an athlete representing Canada in archery at the Paris Olympics. A little background on Virginie. She was born in Laval. She's a graduate of McGill University, and she secured Canada a spot in women's archery individual recurve for Paris 2024 by reaching the final of the America's Olympic qualifier in April 2024, where she finished as runner-up. She has represented Canada in 3 Pan American Games, with highlights including a gold medal at the Lima 2019 Pan American Qualification Tournament and a quarterfinal finish at Santiago 2023. Beginning her career at age 11, Virginie has consistently excelled on the international stage, earning multiple medals and achieving a career-best World Cup finish of 17th in 2016. Well, she joins us today to give us more insight on her career as an athlete. Virginie Chenier, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thank you for coming on. Our very first Olympian here on Life Unrehearsed. So glad you could join me here in studio. Tell us more about how you got involved with archery and chose to pursue it at a competitive level.
Yes, so archery is quite a different sport from all the main sports that you usually see. So I began as a gymnast, actually. So I started from age 5. And if you're familiar with the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo with Simone Biles, she had what we call the twisties. So that's what I developed when I was doing gymnastics. And everything became kind of scary to me. So I took the hard decision to quit the sport. But I was still an athlete at heart, and I wanted to keep doing whatever other sport I could do. So I went to try a bunch of other ones. So I did karate, diving, which kind of was similar to gymnastics, so that was not going to work out. I did fencing as well, but it was archery that caught my attention. Actually, the gymnasts have the back muscles well developed for archery. So when I went to try, it was love at first try, I guess. And I never went back to fencing, but life could have been different. But archery won in the end.
It did run, and you started since 11. And how old are you now, Virginie?
I'm 30.
30, so almost 20 years that you've been at this. I'm going to put you on the spot here. You've been through many highs and lows, I'm sure. What was your proudest moment, if you had to choose one in your athletic career so far, I'll add?
So far, I think my proudest moment was at the Pan American Championships. So that was the tournament that was right after the Games qualifier. That was in Colombia this year. And it was my best result at a Pan American Championship. So I won the bronze medal. I shot against some pretty good archers, and I was able to keep my cool, shoot the best I could do to my ability, and walk away with the bronze medal. And in the team event too, with the mixed team with my teammate Eric Peters, we also won the bronze medal, so that was pretty special.
Special indeed. Good for you. Matt Del Vecchio here on Life Unrehearsed, talking to Virginie Chenier, an archery Olympian at the Paris Games last summer. Now, talking about the Paris Games, I can't imagine the stress of the actual of your events. And how did you prepare for the Paris Olympics? Because I'm sure there's the physical component, but very much so the mental component as well, isn't it?
Yes, it's the biggest event in the world, really. Like, everyone talks about it. And if you're an athlete to begin with, everyone talks about, oh, do you want to go to the Olympics? Is that your goal? It's their competition that everyone knows about. And everyone's going to be tuning in, and it's going to be all over the news. With archery, we're not as used to it. It's not a sport that has a lot of media coverage. But coaches and other athletes that have been to the games are telling us, like, before you go, you must prepare, like it's going to be a lot bigger than other tournaments usually are. There's going to be more people watching, there's going to be people observing. So leaning on my experience from the Pan Am Games, like, it is smaller, but it is a multi-sport event, and there are news outlets there, and there's more coverage. So I lean on that experience to go into Paris. And then, yeah.
Amazing. Just a lot to prepare. And if you look back, what would you say was one of your most memorable parts of the Olympic experience?
I mean, there's so much from the opening ceremonies that was quite different. It was pouring rain. It was so much fun. And then we heard rumors that Celine Dion was going to be performing. So the whole time we were waiting, like, where is she going to come out of? Is she really going to be here? And then when we heard her sing, we just all turned around. We're like, oh, she's right there. She's on the Eiffel Tower. That's amazing. And then other moments within the village, I would say being in the Athletes Lounge, the Canadian Athletes Lounge, is really special. It's in a place in where we stay in our building that Team Canada prepares. So there's a bunch of TVs with all the sports or live streaming there. There's games. You can like socialize with other athletes, meet new people. You learn about their sports too. So it's great. Like I remember I was watching judo, and I mean, I understand what judo is, but I don't know all the rules. And having a judoka watching their teammates with me on TV, and we're all cheering for them, and we ask like, oh, how does it work? Was that good? And like everyone's just cheering for everybody, and we don't necessarily know them, but they're Team Canada, so it's just a big family, and just the experience, the environment, so good. And yeah, Paris was after Tokyo, right? So there was a lot of expectations on how big the games were going to be after we couldn't have the games in 2020, and then 2021 didn't have spectators. So just being in a city too that I could speak French with the locals, like everything was so special about it.
It must have really been special, and glad you brought up the I guess the Canadian village, if you will. You know, the sense of, and since your previous background was gymnastics, I understand you went to a couple gymnastic events as well, and must have been special to see the gymnasts.
Yes, for sure. Like seeing it in person, I saw a lot of the male gymnastics, and I met some of them there, and now they're friends, and I could cheer them on, and it was just so great. Yeah.
Talking with Virginie Chenier, an Olympian at the Paris 2024 Olympics in archery. Now, switching gears a little bit, boy, you've done a lot of training, and you see a lot of athletes. If you were to give some advice to young athletes aspiring to follow in your footsteps, what advice would you give?
One advice that I would give, and I followed myself, and I try to remind myself every day too, is it's never going to be like rainbows and sunshines. Like, your road is going to have many ups and downs, and you can't lean in when you're having a bad time. I'd say in my career, there's been some real lows, but there've been some real highs as well. And just focus on why you're doing it in the first place, and make sure you have fun, right? Like, that's the reason we're here in the first place, because we love our sports. So it's good to remind yourself why you started doing your sport in the first place, and leaning on that, and I mean, follow your values, and everything's going to work out for you. Keep working hard, and dreams come true.
Keep working hard and dreams come true. Love that. And you're still working very hard, still training. Olympic aspirations, I guess, 2028? It's in LA, correct? Is that right this time? And
yes, exactly. 4 years from now,
what
LA.
are your thoughts, without putting you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Because it's a long ways away. It's a real commitment, I would imagine. So what are your thoughts going into the future?
For now, when I was in Paris, I would say definitely I was like, I'm going to be here again in 4 years. Like, that's what I want to do. But the daily challenges, of course, like, it's hard being a high performance athlete. So right now I'm taking it 1 year at a time. I'm definitely going to be competing next season. And then if everything goes well, I really hope I'll be there in LA again.
Well, it's something very special. Just for our listeners, you're in, it's called a rerun. Is that correct? How far is the target?
The target is 70 meters away.
70 meters away.
It's about 3/4 of a football field. Yeah.
And you're trying to go down to a millimeter, right? It's down to millimeters.
Yeah, the middle of the target is about the size of a CD or a Blu-ray DVD. So that's why you want to hit from 70 meters away, and you want to hit it every single time. And perfection has not been achieved yet in a qualification round, but that's what we try to do.
My goodness. Wow. And those arrows go at quite a speed. I understand like 210 feet or something like that in a second. Is that it? How fast do they go?
I think the women is about 190 kilometers an hour. And then the men are anywhere from 210 to 220 because they have more poundage in their bow. And then you have the compound bows who can go up to 240 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I wish you continued success and the best of luck and like you say, 1 year at a time, and but go for it if you can. We'd love for you to represent Canada once again, Virginie.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming into studio here. That's Virginie Chenier, Paris 2024 Olympian in archery.